beneath the endless desert skies of Egypt, along the banks of the mighty Nile River, a civilization unlike any other rose from the sands. Ancient Egypt, with its towering monuments, intricate art, and profound spirituality, was a land shaped by the rhythm of the Nile's waters. The river, a lifeline in the harsh desert landscape, brought not only sustenance and fertility to the land, but also became the foundation upon which the Egyptian people built one of the greatest civilizations in history. At the heart of this extraordinary society stood the pharaohs, rulers who were more than mere kings. To their people, the pharaohs were living gods, earthly manifestations of divine power, tasked with maintaining the delicate balance between the gods, the land, and their subjects. Their reigns were marked by grand achievements in architecture, art, and culture, but also by their enduring quest for immortality, seeking to ensure that their names and deeds would live on forever. The story of ancient Egypt is, in many ways, the story of its pharaohs. From the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt by the first pharaoh, Narmer, to the construction of the awe-inspiring Great Pyramid of Giza under Khufu, and the reign of the legendary Cleopatra, the pharaohs left an indelible mark on the world. Their vast tombs, magnificent temples, and colossal statues were more than mere symbols of power. They were bridges between the mortal and divine realms, created to ensure the pharaoh's eternal existence in the afterlife. Yet, despite their divine status, the pharaohs were also human, and their reigns were filled with triumphs and challenges. Some, like Hatshepsut, defied tradition to rule as a female pharaoh, while others, like Akhenaten, challenged the religious order by promoting the worship of a single god. Through wars, alliances, and monumental construction projects, the pharaohs of Egypt left behind a legacy that continues to fascinate and inspire us today. As you embark on this journey through the ages, you will travel alongside these extraordinary rulers, witnessing the grandeur of their reigns, the beauty of their achievements, and the mysteries of their divine power. From the early dynasties to the final days of Cleopatra, the story of Egypt's pharaohs is a tale of ambition, faith, and the timeless flow of the Nile, always moving, always eternal. Chapter 1. Narmer, the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt. Long before the construction of the Great Pyramids and the flourishing of Egypt's Golden Age, there was a time when Egypt was not yet one unified kingdom. It was a land divided, split into two regions, Upper Egypt in the south and Lower Egypt in the north, where the Nile River flowed into the Mediterranean Sea. These two regions, each with its own rulers, customs, and deities, coexisted in a delicate balance. But the desire for unity and power was never far from the minds of their leaders. Around 3100 BCE, a pharaoh emerged who would forever change the course of Egyptian history. His name was Narmer, and he is often regarded as the first true pharaoh of Egypt, the one who united the two lands, Upper and Lower Egypt, into a single powerful kingdom. This unification marked the beginning of the First Dynasty, and the dawn of one of the most remarkable civilizations the world has ever seen. Narmer's rise to power is shrouded in both legend and history, with much of what we know coming from ancient artifacts and inscriptions. One of the most famous of these artifacts is the Narmer Palette, a ceremonial stone carving that depicts Narmer's victory over his enemies and the symbolic unification of Egypt. The palette shows Narmer wearing both the white crown of Upper Egypt and the red crown of Lower Egypt, symbolizing his rule over the newly united kingdom. In his hands, He holds the symbols of kingship, including a mace, demonstrating his authority and strength. The unification of Egypt was not merely a political achievement, it was also a deeply symbolic event. For the Egyptians, the joining of Upper and Lower Egypt represented the merging of two vital forces. One represented by the fertile lands of the Nile Delta in the north, and the other by the more arid, mountainous regions of the south. Together, they formed a single, powerful kingdom, with the Nile River as its lifeblood, sustaining both the land and its people. Narmer's reign set the foundation for the future pharaohs who would follow in his footsteps, establishing the first centralized government in Egypt. He is believed to have founded the city of Memphis near the junction of Upper and Lower Egypt, which would serve as the capital of the United Kingdom for centuries. Memphis, with its strategic location near the Nile Delta, became the center of trade, administration, and religious life, playing a crucial role in the development of Egypt as a powerful and cohesive state. Beyond the political and military unification, Narmer's reign was also a cultural turning point. It was during his rule that many of the symbols and traditions that would define ancient Egypt for millennia began to take shape. The concept of the pharaoh as both a king and a god, responsible for maintaining Ma'at, the divine order of the universe, was solidified during this time. Narmer's unification of Egypt was seen as a reflection of this cosmic order, with the pharaoh positioned as the intermediary between the gods and the people. Narmer's legacy endures not only in the annals of Egyptian history, but also in the monuments and artifacts that have survived to this day. His reign marked the beginning of what would become the world's most enduring civilization, one that would thrive for more than 3,000 years, leaving behind a wealth of knowledge, culture, and art that continues to captivate and inspire us today. As you reflect on Narmer's unification of Egypt, imagine the great pharaoh standing at the helm of this new kingdom, gazing out over the land he had brought together. His vision of a united Egypt would shape the destiny of the nation, guiding it through the ages as a beacon of power, stability, and divine order. And just as the Nile flows steadily through the heart of Egypt, so too does the legacy of Narmer, the first pharaoh, who united the two lands into one. Chapter 2: Djoser and the Step Pyramid. As Egypt entered the Third Dynasty, the reign of Pharaoh Djoser brought about a period of innovation and architectural brilliance that would forever change the landscape of the kingdom. Djoser was not only a powerful ruler, but he also presided over one of the most significant advancements in Egyptian construction: the creation of the first stone pyramid, known as the Step Pyramid. His reign marked a turning point in the way Egyptians honored their pharaohs, laying the foundation for the great pyramids that would follow. Before Djoser's reign, Egyptian rulers were buried in mastabas, flat-roofed rectangular tombs made of mud brick. These tombs were impressive, but Djoser, under the guidance of his brilliant architect Imhotep, sought something more: a monument that would reflect the divine power and eternal legacy of a pharaoh. Imhotep, who was not only an architect but also a priest, physician, and sage, was tasked with designing a structure that would honor Djoser in the afterlife and serve as a symbol of his enduring greatness. The result was the Step Pyramid of Saqqara, a revolutionary design that transformed the traditional mastaba into a towering structure made of stone. Built in stages, the pyramid rose in 6 distinct levels, or steps, creating a monumental staircase that was believed to lead the pharaoh's spirit to the heavens. This was the first time in Egyptian history that stone had been used on such a massive scale. marking the beginning of a new era in architecture and construction. The Step Pyramid, which stands at the center of a vast mortuary complex in Saqqara, was not only a tomb but also a sacred site for rituals and offerings to honor Djoser's soul in the afterlife. Surrounding the pyramid were temples, courtyards, and chapels, all designed to ensure that the pharaoh's ka, or spirit, would be sustained for eternity. The entire complex was enclosed by a massive limestone wall, with a single ceremonial entrance symbolizing the separation between the mortal and divine realms. The construction of the Step Pyramid was a monumental achievement. It required the labor of thousands of workers and the expertise of Egypt's finest craftsmen. The pyramid's stone blocks were meticulously quarried, transported, and assembled, creating a structure that would stand the test of time. Today, more than 4,600 years later, the Step Pyramid remains one of the most iconic and enduring symbols of ancient Egypt's ingenuity. Djoser's decision to build the Step Pyramid was not only about creating a grand tomb for himself, it was also a statement of his power and divine right to rule. By commissioning such an extraordinary monument, Djoser reinforced the idea that the pharaoh was not just a king but a living god, chosen by the deities to maintain order and balance in the world. His pyramid was meant to ensure that, even in death, he would continue to protect and guide Egypt from the afterlife. Imhotep's role in designing the Step Pyramid cannot be overstated. His architectural genius not only set the stage for future pyramid construction, but also earned him a place in Egyptian history as one of the most revered figures of the time. So admired was Imhotep that long after his death he was deified, becoming the god of medicine and wisdom. His name would be remembered for centuries, a testament to the profound impact he had on Egyptian culture and architecture. Djoser's Step Pyramid was more than just a burial site. It was a symbol of the transformation of Egyptian society and its embrace of monumental stone architecture. This innovation would inspire the construction of even greater pyramids in the centuries to come, including the Great Pyramid of Giza, built by Khufu in the 4th dynasty. As you reflect on Djoser's reign and the creation of the Step Pyramid, imagine the awe it must have inspired in the people of Egypt. The towering structure rising above the desert, its steps reaching toward the sky. It stood as a reminder of the pharaoh's divine authority and the eternal connection between the heavens and the earth. Djoser's legacy, immortalized in stone, marked the beginning of Egypt's most iconic architectural achievements, and his name would be remembered for millennia as the pharaoh who transformed the way Egypt honored its kings. Chapter 3: Sneferu and the Art of Pyramid Building. As Egypt moved into the 4th dynasty, the reign of Pharaoh Sneferu marked a new era of architectural mastery and innovation. Sneferu, the first pharaoh of the 4th dynasty, would go on to be remembered as one of the most prolific builders of pyramids in Egyptian history. Under his reign, the art of pyramid construction reached new heights, culminating in the creation of not one, but 3 significant pyramids that forever changed the landscape of ancient Egypt. While Djoser's Step Pyramid had been revolutionary in its own right, it was Sneferu who perfected the smooth-sided pyramid design that would become the defining symbol of ancient Egyptian power and immortality. His reign saw the transition from the stepped pyramid form to the more refined and geometrically precise structures that would eventually lead to the Great Pyramid of Giza, built by his son Khufu. Sneferu's first attempt at pyramid building began at Meidum, where he commissioned what was intended to be a traditional stepped pyramid. However, partway through construction, the design was altered to create a smooth-sided pyramid, marking the first attempt to build a true pyramid. Unfortunately, the Mayadum pyramid was not entirely successful, and it later partially collapsed, leaving behind a structure that resembles a tower rather than the grand monument Sneferu had envisioned. Despite this setback, the Mayadum pyramid was a critical step in the evolution of pyramid construction, as it demonstrated the challenges and complexities of achieving a smooth, symmetrical form. Not one to be deterred by failure, Sneferu quickly moved on to his next great project, the bent pyramid at Dashur. This pyramid, with its unique shape, represents one of the most fascinating architectural experiments in Egyptian history. The bent pyramid rises from the desert floor at a steep angle, but about halfway up, the angle of the sides becomes much shallower, creating the distinct bent shape that gives the pyramid its name. The reason for this sudden change in angle remains a subject of debate among historians and archaeologists. Some believe it was an engineering necessity, as the original steep angle may have caused structural instability. Others suggest that the change in design was intentional, perhaps to reflect a symbolic or religious significance. Whatever the reason, the bent pyramid stands as a testament to Sneferu's determination to perfect the art of pyramid building, and it remains one of the most unique monuments in Egypt to this day. Despite the unusual shape of the bent pyramid, Sneferu's ambition was far from diminished. His next project, the Red Pyramid, also located at Dashur, was a resounding success and is considered the first true smooth-sided pyramid in Egyptian history. The Red Pyramid, named for the reddish hue of its limestone blocks, stands at an impressive height of 104 meters, 341 feet, and boasts perfectly straight, smooth sides. It was this pyramid that finally achieved the design Sneferu had been striving for, with its symmetrical form and grand scale. The Red Pyramid's construction was a monumental achievement, showcasing the advanced engineering skills of Sneferu's architects and workers. Its design would serve as the prototype for the more famous Great Pyramid of Giza, which would be built by Sneferu's son, Khufu. With the successful completion of the Red Pyramid, Sneferu secured his place as one of Egypt's greatest pyramid builders, and his reign became synonymous with architectural innovation and experimentation. Sneferu's legacy as a master pyramid builder went beyond the physical structures he left behind. His reign set the stage for the great pyramid-building era that would follow, inspiring future pharaohs to continue pushing the boundaries of architecture and engineering. The advancements made under Sneferu's rule not only transformed the way pyramids were constructed, but also reinforced the idea that the pharaoh's tomb was more than just a burial site. It was a symbol of the eternal power and divinity of the ruler. In addition to his contributions to pyramid construction, Sneferu's reign was marked by prosperity and stability. He expanded Egypt's borders through military campaigns, strengthened trade relations with neighboring regions, and oversaw a flourishing economy. His ability to balance both military might and architectural ambition made him one of the most respected and successful pharaohs of the Old Kingdom. As you reflect on Sneferu's reign, imagine the bustling activity at the construction sites of his pyramids, the sound of stone being quarried and shaped, the sight of workers carefully placing each massive block in its designated position, and the sense of pride and accomplishment that must have filled the air as the first true pyramid took shape. Sneferu's pyramids, particularly the Red Pyramid, stand as lasting monuments to his vision and determination. His achievements in the art of pyramid building would pave the way for the iconic structures that continue to define Egypt's ancient legacy. Chapter 4: Khufu and the Great Pyramid of Giza. As Egypt's pyramid-building tradition reached its pinnacle, the reign of Pharaoh Khufu, also known as Cheops, brought forth the most iconic and enduring symbol of ancient Egypt, the Great Pyramid of Giza. Standing as a testament to human ingenuity, ambition, and devotion, the Great Pyramid remains one of the most magnificent architectural achievements in human history. It is the largest of all the pyramids, a structure that has inspired wonder for millennia, and it still dominates the landscape of Giza, near modern-day Cairo. Khufu's reign, during the 4th dynasty of the Old Kingdom, was marked by his ambitious desire to build a monument that would stand as an eternal symbol of his power and divine right to rule. The pyramid was intended to be his final resting place, a grand tomb that would ensure his journey to the afterlife and secure his place among the gods. But the Great Pyramid was more than just a tomb. It was a statement of Egypt's architectural prowess and a reflection of the central role the pharaoh played in maintaining the balance of the cosmos. The construction of the Great Pyramid began around 2580 BCE, and it is believed to have taken roughly 20 years to complete. It was an immense undertaking, requiring the labor of tens of thousands of workers, engineers, and skilled craftsmen. Unlike the popular misconception that the pyramids were built by slaves, most historians now believe that the workforce consisted of paid laborers who were housed in nearby workers' villages and provided with food, shelter, and medical care. These laborers were proud of their work, knowing they were contributing to a monumental project that would last for eternity. The sheer scale of the Great Pyramid is staggering. Originally standing at 146.6 meters, 481 feet, it was the tallest man-made structure in the world for over 3,800 years. It was constructed using approximately 2.3 million limestone blocks, each weighing between 2.5 and 15 tons. The precision with which these blocks were quarried, transported, and placed remains a subject of amazement and study. The pyramid's base covers an area of over 13 acres, and its sides are almost perfectly aligned with the cardinal points of the compass: north, south, east, and west. The methods used to construct the Great Pyramid have long been a source of fascination and debate. Without the use of modern machinery, the ancient Egyptians relied on sheer human ingenuity and a deep understanding of mathematics and engineering. Ramps, sleds, and levers are thought to have played a crucial role in the transportation and placement of the massive stone blocks. Workers used copper tools to cut and shape the limestone, and the entire project was overseen by skilled architects and engineers who ensured that each block was placed with meticulous precision. Inside the pyramid, a complex system of passageways and chambers was designed to house the pharaoh's body and the treasures he would take with him into the afterlife. At the heart of the structure lies the king's chamber, where Khufu's sarcophagus was placed. Above the king's chamber are several relieving chambers, designed to distribute the weight of the massive stones above and prevent the chamber from collapsing. The pyramid also contains the queen's chamber and a series of narrow shafts, which some believe were meant to allow the pharaoh's soul to ascend to the heavens and join the gods. The pyramid was originally encased in smooth, white Tura limestone, which would have reflected the sun's rays, making the structure gleam brightly and visible from miles away. This outer casing has since eroded or been removed, but in its prime, the Great Pyramid would have been a dazzling sight, a symbol of Khufu's divine power and Egypt's wealth and sophistication. The construction of the Great Pyramid was more than just a monumental feat of engineering. It was also a deeply religious and spiritual act. The Egyptians believed that the pharaoh's tomb was a gateway to the afterlife, where the pharaoh would be reborn as a god. The pyramid's shape, which points toward the sky, was symbolic of the pharaoh's ascent to join the gods in the heavens. It was also aligned with certain stars and constellations, particularly those associated with Osiris, the god of the afterlife. Khufu's reign, while not extensively documented in written records, is defined by this colossal achievement. The Great Pyramid became a model for future tombs, though none would surpass its grandeur or scale. It was the crowning achievement of ancient Egyptian architecture and a reflection of the Old Kingdom's power and stability. Even today, the Great Pyramid of Giza continues to captivate the world. It is the only surviving structure of the seven wonders of the ancient world, and its mystery and magnificence endure. For thousands of years, it has withstood the test of time, weathering the elements and standing as a testament to the enduring legacy of the pharaohs of Egypt. As you reflect on the story of Khufu and the Great Pyramid, imagine the immense effort and devotion that went into constructing this towering monument. Picture the workers, architects, and priests who dedicated their lives to building a structure that would stand for eternity, a bridge between the mortal world and the divine. The Great Pyramid, rising above the sands of Giza, remains a symbol of human ambition, spiritual belief, and the quest for immortality, a legacy that Khufu, the great pharaoh, achieved beyond his wildest dreams. Chapter 5. Hatshepsut, Egypt's female pharaoh. In a time and culture dominated by male rulers, Hatshepsut stands out as one of the most extraordinary figures in ancient Egyptian history. As one of the few women to take on the full title and responsibilities of pharaoh, Hatshepsut's reign was marked by peace, prosperity, and a flourishing of art, architecture, and trade. Her legacy as a powerful and visionary leader defied convention, and she left behind a lasting imprint on Egypt's history. Hatshepsut came to power during the 18th dynasty, a period of great stability and wealth. She was the daughter of Thutmose I and the wife of her half-brother Thutmose II. But her rise to the throne was not straightforward. When her husband died, the rightful heir, Thutmose III, was too young to rule, and Hatshepsut stepped in as regent. Initially, she ruled on behalf of the young pharaoh, but over time, she took on more authority, eventually declaring herself pharaoh in her own right. This was a bold and unprecedented move. In Egyptian society, the pharaoh was traditionally male, viewed as the earthly representative of the gods, particularly the god Horus, who was always depicted as male. Hatshepsut, however, navigated this cultural expectation with remarkable skill. To legitimize her rule, she adopted the full regalia of a pharaoh, including the traditional male clothing, the false beard, and the name's headdress. In inscriptions and statues, she was often depicted with the physical attributes of a male ruler, a clear statement of her authority. Yet, Hatshepsut did not merely claim the title of pharaoh. She ruled with great effectiveness and vision. Her reign, which lasted for about 22 years, was characterized by peace and economic prosperity. Unlike many of her predecessors and successors, who focused on military conquest, Hatshepsut prioritized trade and diplomacy. One of the most significant achievements of her reign was the famous expedition to the land of Punt, a mysterious and distant region thought to be located in modern-day Somalia or the Arabian Peninsula. The expedition to Punt was a resounding success. Hatshepsut's fleet returned with exotic goods, including gold, incense, myrrh, ebony, and ivory. The trade mission not only boosted Egypt's economy, but also solidified Hatshepsut's reputation as a pharaoh who brought wealth and prestige to her people. Scenes of the expedition were meticulously carved into the walls of her mortuary temple, showcasing her accomplishments for future generations. One of Hatshepsut's most lasting legacies is her monumental building projects, particularly her stunning mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari. Nestled in the cliffs along the west bank of the Nile near Luxor, this temple is considered one of the architectural masterpieces of ancient Egypt. Its grand terraces, colonnades, and statues blend seamlessly into the natural landscape, creating a structure that is both awe-inspiring and harmonious with its surroundings. The temple was dedicated to the god Amun, as well as to Hatshepsut's own divine legacy. Inscriptions and reliefs throughout the temple depict her divine birth, reinforcing her claim to the throne as a chosen ruler of the gods. The temple also celebrates her achievements, including the expedition to Punt, and was designed as a place where she would be honored and remembered for eternity. Despite her remarkable reign, much of Hatshepsut's legacy was nearly erased after her death. When Thutmose III came of age and assumed full power, there was an effort to systematically remove Hatshepsut's name and image from monuments and records. Statues of her were defaced, and her cartouches were chiseled away, possibly in an attempt to restore the traditional line of male succession and diminish her unprecedented role as a female pharaoh. However, Hatshepsut's contributions could not be entirely erased. Modern archaeology has uncovered her legacy, and today she is recognized as one of Egypt's greatest pharaohs. Her ability to maintain peace, strengthen Egypt's economy, and oversee monumental building projects speaks to her exceptional leadership and vision. Far from being merely a placeholder ruler, Hatshepsut was a transformative figure who shaped Egypt's history in profound ways. As you reflect on the story of Hatshepsut, imagine her standing before her magnificent temple at Deir el-Bahari, her gaze fixed on the horizon, confident in her rule and her legacy. She defied the norms of her time, not through conquest, but through wisdom, diplomacy, and innovation. Her reign was a time of peace and prosperity, and her story remains a powerful reminder that true leadership knows no gender. The memory of Hatshepsut endures, not only in the stones of her temple, but in the history of a pharaoh who, against all odds, claimed her place among the gods. Chapter 6. Akhenaten and the Sun. God Aten. In the long history of ancient Egypt, few pharaohs were as controversial or as transformative as Akhenaten, a ruler whose reign marked a dramatic departure from the traditional religious and cultural practices of his time. Akhenaten, originally named Amenhotep IV, ascended the throne during the 18th dynasty, but soon after, he initiated one of the most radical religious revolutions in ancient Egyptian history, an attempt to replace Egypt's long-standing polytheistic worship with the monotheistic worship of the Aten, the sun disk. Before Akhenaten's reign, Egypt's religion was centered around a pantheon of gods and goddesses, the most important of whom was Amun, the king of the gods. Temples dedicated to Amun dominated the religious landscape, and the powerful priesthood of Amun held significant influence over the state. But when Akhenaten took the throne, he sought to change all of that. He declared that Aten, the sun disk, was the one true god, and that he, Akhenaten, was the chosen representative of Aten on earth. This radical shift in religious ideology came with a new name for the pharaoh, Akhenaten, meaning effective for Aten. It also led to the construction of a new capital city, Akhetaten, modern-day Amarna, which Akhenaten built in honor of his god. The city, situated on the east bank of the Nile, was designed as a center for the worship of Aten, and served as the political and religious heart of Akhenaten's new order. Akhetaten was built quickly and with great care, featuring open-air temples where the rays of the sun could shine directly upon the worshippers, reflecting the central tenet of Aten worship, the life-giving power of the sun. Akhenaten's religious revolution was not just a matter of theology. It was also a profound cultural transformation. Traditional images of the gods were removed, and the many temples dedicated to Amun and other deities were closed or repurposed. Akhenaten himself was depicted in a very different style than previous pharaohs. Rather than the idealized muscular form usually portrayed in royal art, Akhenaten was shown with elongated features, a rounded belly, and a more androgynous appearance. This new artistic style extended to representations of the royal family, including his wife, Nefertiti, and their children, who were often shown in intimate, affectionate family scenes, a marked departure from the more formal and rigid depictions of royal families in earlier periods. At the heart of Akhenaten's religious revolution was his profound devotion to the sun god Aten. In inscriptions and hymns, Aten is described as the source of all life, the giver of light and warmth that nourishes the earth and sustains all living things. One of the most famous of these texts is the great hymn to the Aten, which celebrates the sun god's daily journey across the sky and his role in creating and sustaining life. In this hymn, Aten is praised not only for giving life to the people of Egypt, but also for his care of all living things, both near and far. While Akhenaten's devotion to Aten was unwavering, his religious reforms were not universally embraced. The shift from polytheism to monotheism disrupted centuries of religious tradition and led to widespread discontent, particularly among the powerful priests of Amun, who saw their influence and wealth diminish. The closing of temples and the redirection of resources to the new city of Akhetaten created economic strain, and many Egyptians, accustomed to worshiping multiple gods, were reluctant to embrace Aten as the sole deity. Akhenaten's focus on religion also came at the expense of other aspects of his rule. During his reign, Egypt's foreign policy weakened, and the empire's territories in Nubia, Syria, and Canaan began to slip from its control. This neglect of Egypt's military and diplomatic strength led to political instability, which only added to the growing dissatisfaction with his rule. After Akhenaten's death, likely in the 17th year of his reign, his religious revolution quickly unraveled. His successors, including the young Tutankhamun, who was originally named Tutankhaten in honor of Aten, worked to restore Egypt's traditional religious practices. The capital was moved back to Thebes, and the temples of Amun were reopened. Akhenaten's name and legacy were systematically erased from official records, and his city of Akhetaten was abandoned, left to be swallowed by the desert sands. For centuries, Akhenaten's reign was largely forgotten, his monuments and inscriptions destroyed or buried. It was only in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, with the rediscovery of Amarna and the excavation of the city's ruins, that historians began to piece together the story of this enigmatic pharaoh and his bold religious experiment. Today, Akhenaten is remembered not only for his radical departure from Egyptian religious tradition, but also for the unique and highly personal vision he brought to his reign. His devotion to Aten, his emphasis on the sun's life-giving power, and his willingness to challenge the established religious order make him one of the most intriguing and controversial figures in Egyptian history. While his monotheistic experiment was ultimately short-lived, Akhenaten's reign left an indelible mark on Egypt's cultural and religious landscape. As you reflect on the story of Akhenaten, imagine the sun rising over the city of Akhetaten, its rays bathing the open-air temples in golden light. Akhenaten, standing before his people, lifts his arms in praise to Aten, the source of all life. Though his reign was brief, his vision of a world united under the sun, God left a legacy of innovation and controversy, a reminder of the power of belief and the lengths to which a ruler will go to shape the destiny of a kingdom. Chapter 7. Tutankhamun, the Boy King's Legacy. Few names in ancient Egyptian history are as famous today as Tutankhamun, the boy king whose tomb, discovered nearly intact in 1922, became one of the greatest archaeological finds of all time. Yet, during his short reign, Tutankhamun, often affectionately referred to as King Tut, was a relatively minor figure. It was not until the treasures of his tomb were unearthed in the early 20th century that he became a global icon, forever linked to the mysteries and grandeur of ancient Egypt. Tutankhamun was born into a turbulent period of Egyptian history. He was the son of Akhenaten, the controversial pharaoh who had attempted to revolutionize Egypt's religion by promoting the worship of the sun god Aten. After Akhenaten's death, the people of Egypt sought to return to the traditional polytheistic beliefs that had been central to their culture for centuries. This religious and political upheaval shaped much of Tutankhamun's reign. Tutankhamun ascended the throne as a boy of about 9 years old, originally named Tutankhaten in honor of Aten. Given his young age, he relied heavily on powerful advisors, including the Vizier Ai and the General Horemheb, to guide him through the complexities of ruling Egypt. Though the boy king would not live long enough to leave a significant personal mark on Egyptian history, his reign was crucial in restoring order after the chaos of his father's religious revolution. One of the most important decisions made during Tutankhamun's reign was the abandonment of Akhenaten's monotheistic reforms. Under the influence of his advisors, Tutankhamun moved the capital back to Thebes, the traditional religious center, and reopened the temples dedicated to the old gods, particularly Amun, who once again became the chief deity of the Egyptian pantheon. Tutankhamun's name was changed to reflect this return to the traditional beliefs, replacing Aten with Amun, thus becoming Tutankhamun, which means living image of Amun. Despite the religious restoration, Tutankhamun's reign was marked by other significant challenges. Egypt had lost much of its influence abroad during Akhenaten's rule, and attempts were made to restore its diplomatic and military standing. Although Tutankhamun's contributions to Egypt's foreign policy were limited due to his young age and short reign, his advisors worked to rebuild alliances and strengthen Egypt's position. Tutankhamun's reign came to a sudden end around 1324 BCE, when he died unexpectedly at the age of 18 or 19. The cause of his death remains a subject of debate among historians and archaeologists. Some theories suggest he may have died from an illness or infection, while others propose that a combination of genetic disorders and injuries contributed to his early death. His sudden passing left Egypt without a direct heir, and the throne passed to his vizier, Ea, who succeeded him. What makes Tutankhamun's legacy so remarkable is not his achievements as a ruler, but the discovery of his tomb in the Valley of the Kings. Unlike many of his predecessors, whose tombs had been looted or destroyed over the centuries, Tutankhamun's tomb remained largely intact, providing an unprecedented glimpse into the opulence and artistry of ancient Egyptian burial practices. The discovery of the tomb by Howard Carter in 1922 sent shockwaves through the world. When Carter first peered into the tomb by the light of a flickering candle and was asked if he could see anything, his famous reply was, "Yes, wonderful things." Inside the tomb, Carter and his team found a treasure trove of artifacts, including golden chariots, statues, jewelry, and furniture, all designed to accompany the young pharaoh into the afterlife. At the heart of the tomb lay the iconic golden death mask of Tutankhamun, a masterpiece of ancient craftsmanship that has since become one of the most recognizable symbols of ancient Egypt. The mask, made of solid gold and inlaid with precious stones, depicts the serene face of the boy king, with a false beard and the traditional Nemes headdress worn by pharaohs. This mask, along with the rest of the treasures, provided a window into the beliefs and rituals surrounding death and the afterlife in ancient Egypt. The tomb's discovery not only illuminated the burial customs of the pharaohs, but also sparked worldwide fascination with Egyptology. The artifacts found in Tutankhamun's tomb traveled the world in exhibitions, captivating millions with their beauty and mystery. Tutankhamun, once a relatively obscure figure in Egyptian history, became a symbol of the splendor and allure of ancient Egypt. Tutankhamun's legacy, however, is not without complexity. While his tomb has made him one of the most famous pharaohs of all time, his actual reign was short and relatively uneventful compared to the great builders and warriors who came before and after him. Yet, his story endures, not because of what he achieved in life, but because of the profound impact his death, and the treasures buried with him, had on the modern world's understanding of ancient Egypt. As you reflect on the life of Tutankhamun, imagine the quiet stillness of his tomb, untouched for over 3,000 years, waiting to be discovered beneath the desert sands. The golden treasures within, meant to guide the young king into the afterlife, lay in perfect silence, a testament to the ancient Egyptians' belief in eternal life. Tutankhamun's legacy, though brief in life, has endured for millennia, forever capturing the imagination of those who gaze upon the wonders of his tomb. Chapter 8. Ramses II, the Great Builder. Of all the pharaohs who ruled Egypt, few left as lasting an impact as Ramses II, also known as Ramses the Great. His reign, which spanned 66 years from 1279 to 1213 BCE, was one of the longest in Egyptian history, and he is remembered as a great warrior, a skilled diplomat, and, most famously, a master builder. His legacy endures not only in the monumental structures he commissioned, but also in the enduring image of a ruler who embodied the might and grandeur of ancient Egypt. Ramses II was born into the 19th dynasty and succeeded his father, Seti I, as pharaoh at a young age. From the outset of his reign, Ramses sought to assert Egypt's dominance both militarily and culturally. He led numerous campaigns to secure Egypt's borders and expand its influence, particularly against the Hittites, a powerful empire based in Anatolia. One of the most famous episodes of his reign was the Battle of Kadesh in 1274 BCE, in which Ramses led his army against the Hittites in what is often considered the largest chariot battle in history. Although the battle itself ended in a stalemate, Ramses II portrayed it as a great victory in the inscriptions and reliefs he had carved into the walls of his temples. In these depictions, Ramses is shown as a fearless and heroic leader, charging into battle on his chariot, often single-handedly turning the tide of the fight. This image of Ramses as a larger-than-life figure was carefully cultivated throughout his reign, helping to solidify his reputation as one of Egypt's greatest pharaohs. But it was not only on the battlefield that Ramses II made his mark. He was also an extraordinary builder, commissioning a vast number of temples, statues, and monuments across Egypt that reflected the wealth and power of his reign. His building projects were designed not only to honor the gods, but also to immortalize his own image and achievements, ensuring that his legacy would endure for millennia. One of the most impressive and well-known of Ramses II's monuments is the Great Temple at Abu Simbel, located in southern Egypt near the border with Nubia. Carved directly into the sandstone cliffs, the temple is dedicated to the gods Amun, Ra-Horakhti, and Ptah, as well as to Ramses himself, who is depicted in colossal statues flanking the entrance. The 4 seated statues of Ramses, each standing over 20 meters tall, gaze out across the desert, a powerful reminder of his might and divine authority. Inside the temple, scenes of Ramses offering gifts to the gods and depictions of the pharaoh's military victories further emphasize his role as both a warrior and a chosen leader of the gods. The Great Temple at Abu Simbel is not only a testament to Ramses's architectural ambition, but also a marvel of ancient engineering. The temple was designed so that twice a year, on February 22nd and October 22nd, the rays of the rising sun would penetrate the sanctuary and illuminate the statues of Ramses and the gods, a symbolic affirmation of the pharaoh's connection to the divine.
Another of Ramses' monumental achievements is the Ramesseum, his mortuary temple located on the west bank of the Nile near Thebes. The Ramesseum Ramses and was filled with statues, columns, and reliefs that celebrated his reign and his contributions to Egypt. It was part of a larger complex that included storerooms, workshops, and housing for priests, and it was meant to ensure that Ramses would be remembered and honored for generations to come.
Ramses II also contributed significantly to the temples at Karnak and Luxor, 2 of the most important religious sites in ancient Egypt. At Karnak, he added a series of massive statues and obelisks, as well as an entire temple complex dedicated to his reign. At Luxor, Ramses commissioned statues of himself and built a grand courtyard and a processional avenue lined with sphinxes, connecting the Temple of Luxor to the Temple of Karnak. These projects further solidified his legacy as one of Egypt's greatest builders. Beyond his architectural achievements, Ramses II was also known for his diplomatic skill. After years of conflict with the Hittites, Ramses eventually negotiated the first known peace treaty in history. The Treaty of Kadesh, signed around 1259 BCE, brought an end to the hostilities between Egypt and the Hittites and established a lasting peace between the 2 powers. The treaty was inscribed on temple walls in both Egypt and Hittite lands, and it remains one of the earliest examples of diplomatic negotiation and compromise in human history. Ramses's long reign provided stability to Egypt, and he used this time to strengthen the nation's infrastructure and economy. He oversaw the construction of roads, irrigation systems, and granaries, which helped to ensure the prosperity of Egypt's population. His reign was a golden age of wealth and cultural achievement, and his ability to maintain peace and security allowed Egypt to flourish. When Ramses II died in 1213 BCE at the age of around 90, he had ruled Egypt for more than 6 decades. His tomb, located in the Valley of the Kings, was a grand burial chamber befitting a pharaoh of his stature, though his mummy was later moved to a more secure location to protect it from tomb robbers. Today, the mummy of Ramses II is housed in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, where visitors from around the world come to see the remains of the man who is often regarded as the greatest pharaoh of all time. Ramses II's legacy endures not only in the colossal statues and temples he left behind, but also in the stories of his reign, stories of battles fought, treaties signed, and monumental structures built to honor both the gods and the pharaoh himself. As you reflect on Ramses's reign, imagine the towering statues of Abu Simbel, gazing out over the Nile, the sun rising to cast its light on the face of the great pharaoh, a reminder of his enduring presence in the history of Egypt and the world. Chapter 9. Cleopatra, the Last Pharaoh. As the sun set on the ancient world, one of Egypt's most famous and enigmatic rulers emerged to guide the nation through its final years as an independent kingdom. Cleopatra VII, the last pharaoh of Egypt, is a figure whose life has been immortalized in history, literature, and legend. Known for her intelligence, political acumen, and her relationships with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, Cleopatra's story is one of both triumph and tragedy, as she fought to preserve her kingdom's independence in the face of the expanding Roman Empire. Born in 69 BCE into the Ptolemaic dynasty, a Macedonian Greek family that had ruled Egypt since the time of Alexander the Great, Cleopatra was destined for power from a young age. The Ptolemies had adopted many aspects of Egyptian culture, but they ruled as outsiders, maintaining Greek as their court language and often engaging in bitter power struggles within the royal family. Cleopatra, however, was different. She embraced Egypt's heritage and is said to have been the first in her dynasty to learn and speak the Egyptian language, endearing herself to her people and solidifying her legitimacy as a true ruler of Egypt. Cleopatra ascended to the throne at the age of 18, co-ruling with her younger brother Ptolemy XIII. Like many Ptolemaic rulers before her, Cleopatra's reign was marked by political intrigue and family conflict. Within a few years, a struggle for power erupted between Cleopatra and her brother, leading to her exile from Alexandria. But Cleopatra, ever the shrewd strategist, would not remain in exile for long. In 48 BCE, Cleopatra saw an opportunity to reclaim her throne when Julius Caesar, the powerful Roman general, arrived in Egypt pursuing his rival Pompey. Cleopatra famously arranged to meet Caesar, and the tale of her dramatic entrance, allegedly smuggled into his quarters wrapped in a rug, has become the stuff of legend. Her charm, intelligence, and political savvy impressed Caesar, and the two quickly formed an alliance, both political and romantic. With Caesar's support, Cleopatra was able to defeat her brother's forces and reclaim her throne. She became Caesar's lover, and in 47 BCE she gave birth to a son, Ptolemy XV, whom she named Caesarion, meaning Little Caesar. Cleopatra's relationship with Caesar was not merely personal, it was also part of a larger political strategy. By aligning herself with the most powerful man in Rome, Cleopatra sought to protect Egypt's independence and secure her own position as its ruler. Cleopatra traveled to Rome in 46 BCE, where she lived as Caesar's guest, though her presence caused scandal in Roman society. Her boldness and foreign origins made her both admired and feared by the Romans, and she became a subject of fascination and gossip. However, her time in Rome was cut short when Caesar was assassinated in 44 BCE. With her protector gone and Egypt's future uncertain, Cleopatra returned to Alexandria, where she would once again need to navigate the dangerous waters of Roman politics. The next chapter in Cleopatra's life brought her into the orbit of Mark Antony, one of Rome's most powerful leaders and a member of the Second Triumvirate that ruled the Roman world after Caesar's death. In 41 BCE, Antony summoned Cleopatra to meet him in Tarsus, and she arrived in grand style, sailing up the Cydnus River in a golden barge, dressed as the goddess Aphrodite. Cleopatra's charm and wit quickly won over Antony, and the two formed a close alliance. Antony and Cleopatra's relationship, like her earlier one with Caesar, was both romantic and political. Together, they sought to rule the eastern part of the Roman Empire, with Cleopatra hoping to expand her influence and secure her son Caesarion's future. Over the next decade, Cleopatra and Antony lived in Egypt, where they were famously depicted as living in luxury, hosting lavish feasts and celebrations that cemented their legendary status. However, their union was not without consequences. In Rome, Octavian, Caesar's adopted son and Antony's rival for power, used the relationship between Antony and Cleopatra to paint Antony as a traitor to Rome, accusing him of falling under the spell of the foreign queen. Tensions between Octavian and Antony eventually boiled over into open conflict, leading to the Battle of Actium in 31 BCE, a decisive naval engagement that would seal the fate of both Antony and Cleopatra. At Actium, Antony and Cleopatra's forces were decisively defeated by Octavian's fleet. In the aftermath, Antony and Cleopatra fled back to Egypt, where they made a final stand. Realizing that defeat was inevitable, Antony, believing that Cleopatra had already taken her own life, fell on his sword, dying in her arms. Cleopatra, determined not to be paraded through the streets of Rome as a captive in Octavian's triumph, also took her own life shortly after. According to legend, she allowed herself to be bitten by an asp, a venomous snake, though the exact method of her death remains uncertain. With Cleopatra's death, the Ptolemaic dynasty came to an end, and Egypt was annexed by Rome, becoming a Roman province. Caesarion, Cleopatra's son by Julius Caesar, was captured and executed, eliminating any remaining claim to the Egyptian throne. The death of Cleopatra marked the end of over 3,000 years of pharaonic rule in Egypt, and the ancient kingdom that had once been the cradle of one of the world's greatest civilizations was now under Roman control. Despite her tragic end, Cleopatra's legacy has endured. She is remembered not only for her beauty, which was famously exaggerated by Roman propaganda, but for her intelligence, political skill, and determination to preserve Egypt's sovereignty. Cleopatra was a multilingual scholar, a capable ruler, and a woman who, despite the odds, wielded immense power in a world dominated by men. She is often portrayed as the last great pharaoh, the embodiment of Egypt's glory and its final dramatic decline. As you reflect on Cleopatra's life, imagine her standing on the shores of the Nile, gazing out over the waters that had sustained her kingdom for millennia. Though her reign marked the end of an era, Cleopatra's story remains one of ambition, resilience, and an unyielding will to shape the course of history. She was the last pharaoh of Egypt, but her legacy, like the great Nile itself, flows endlessly through the ages. In the vast and arid landscape of the Egyptian desert, near the banks of the life-giving Nile River, stand some of the most awe-inspiring architectural achievements of the ancient world: the pyramids. These massive stone structures, which have survived for millennia, are a testament to the ingenuity, dedication, and spiritual beliefs of an ancient civilization. Rising high above the desert sands, the pyramids served not only as monumental tombs for Egypt's pharaohs, but also as symbols of the pharaohs' divine connection to the gods and their eternal journey into the afterlife. The most famous of these structures, the Great Pyramid of Giza, is a marvel of ancient engineering and remains one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. Built during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu around 2560 BCE, this colossal pyramid was constructed with over 2 million limestone blocks, some weighing as much as 80 tons. Standing at a height of 146 meters, it was the tallest man-made structure in the world for nearly 4,000 years. Even today, the Great Pyramid continues to capture the imagination of people across the globe, drawing visitors to its ancient stones to witness its grandeur. But the story of the pyramids is not just about the towering monuments themselves. It is also about the people who built them, the society that supported such monumental endeavors, and the deep religious significance that drove their construction. For the ancient Egyptians, the pyramids were far more than royal tombs. They were gateways to eternity, designed to ensure the pharaoh's safe passage to the afterlife and eternal union with the gods. The construction of these magnificent structures required not only incredible skill and innovation, but also a profound connection to the spiritual world, where the pharaohs were believed to reside after death. The building of the Great Pyramid and its counterparts was a monumental task, involving thousands of skilled laborers, architects, engineers, and artisans. Contrary to popular myth, these workers were not slaves, but rather a dedicated workforce that took great pride in their role in constructing such monumental structures. They lived in nearby worker villages, where they were provided with food, housing, and medical care, reflecting the importance of their work to the state and to the gods. As we delve into the story of the Great Pyramids, we will explore the incredible planning and organization behind their construction, the techniques used to move massive stones across the desert, and the religious rituals that surrounded the burial of the pharaohs. Through the ingenuity of the ancient Egyptians, these pyramids have stood the test of time, serving as eternal monuments to the power, faith, and vision of a civilization that reached for the heavens. Chapter 1: Pharaohs and Their Eternal Resting Places. In the world of ancient Egypt, the pharaoh was not just a ruler, but a god-king, believed to be the earthly embodiment of Horus, the falcon-headed god of kingship and the sky. Upon death, the pharaoh was expected to ascend to the heavens, where he would take his place among the gods and continue to rule in the afterlife. This belief was central to Egyptian religion and society, and it gave rise to one of the most ambitious architectural endeavors in human history: the construction of the pyramids. The pyramids were designed as eternal resting places for the pharaohs, built to house their bodies and protect their spirits on their journey to the afterlife. These grand tombs were meant to ensure that the pharaohs would have everything they needed in the next world: food, treasure, and sacred items to continue their reign in the divine realm. The scale and precision of these structures reflected the pharaohs' divine status and their desire for immortality. The most famous and impressive of these pyramids is the Great Pyramid of Giza, built for Pharaoh Khufu during Egypt's 4th dynasty, around 2560 BCE. The Great Pyramid is part of a larger complex that includes 2 other major pyramids: those of Khufu's son, Pharaoh Khafre, and his grandson, Pharaoh Menkaure, along with smaller pyramids for queens, temples, and causeways. The decision to build such monumental structures was deeply tied to the Egyptians' religious beliefs about death and the afterlife. According to Egyptian mythology, the afterlife was a continuation of life on earth, where the pharaoh, having passed through death, would be reborn as a god. The construction of a pyramid was a way to ensure that the pharaoh's transition into this divine realm was smooth, uninterrupted, and eternal. Each pyramid was carefully designed to symbolize the journey from earth to the heavens. Its shape, pointing upward, represented the rays of the sun, which were believed to be a pathway for the pharaoh's soul to ascend to the sky and join the sun, god Ra, the supreme deity in the Egyptian pantheon. The choice of the pyramid shape was not just symbolic, it was also practical. The wide base provided stability, while the smooth, sloping sides allowed the weight of the massive stones to be distributed evenly, preventing collapse. The pyramid's orientation was also critical. The builders aligned the structure with the cardinal points of the compass, ensuring that it faced true north, a feat that required advanced knowledge of astronomy and geometry. This alignment was not only a technical marvel, but also had religious significance, as it connected the pharaoh with the eternal and unchanging stars in the northern sky, which the Egyptians associated with immortality. Pharaoh Khufu's decision to build the Great Pyramid was a reflection of his ambition and desire to assert his divine status both in life and after death. As the largest of all the pyramids, Khufu's monument was designed to be a visible, enduring testament to his power, ensuring that his name and legacy would live on for eternity. The Great Pyramid originally stood at 146 meters, 481 feet tall, making it the tallest man-made structure in the world for nearly 4,000 years. However, the construction of a pyramid was not solely for the pharaoh's benefit. It was also a communal and religious act that involved the entire society. The building of the Great Pyramid required tens of thousands of workers, stone cutters, laborers, engineers, and architects who were organized into highly efficient teams. Contrary to popular belief, these workers were not slaves, but skilled laborers who took great pride in their work. They lived in nearby worker villages and were well fed, housed, and provided with medical care. This workforce was vital to the success of the project, and the construction of the pyramids was as much an act of devotion as it was a display of royal power. The construction of the pyramids was also a demonstration of the pharaoh's ability to harness the resources and manpower of the state. It required careful planning and organization, as well as an understanding of engineering and logistics. The blocks used to build the pyramids were quarried from nearby limestone cliffs and transported across the desert using sledges and ramps. Some of the larger blocks, particularly those used in the inner chambers of the pyramid, weighed up to 80 tons. Moving these blocks required not only physical strength, but also ingenuity and coordination. The entire process of constructing the pyramid was steeped in religious significance. Before the construction began, rituals and ceremonies were performed to ensure that the gods favored the project. Offerings were made to the gods, and sacred texts were inscribed on the walls of the burial chambers to protect the pharaoh in the afterlife. The pyramid itself was seen as a sacred space, where the pharaoh would be transformed into a god and join the divine realm. Once the pyramid was completed, the pharaoh's body was carefully prepared for burial. The process of mummification, which took 70 days, was a critical part of ensuring the pharaoh's transition to the afterlife. His organs were removed and placed in canopic jars, while his body was treated with oils and wrapped in linen bandages. The mummified body was then placed in a series of nested coffins, which were in turn placed inside a stone sarcophagus in the burial chamber deep within the pyramid. The burial chamber, located near the heart of the pyramid, was designed to be a sanctuary for the pharaoh's body, protected from grave robbers and the forces of nature. The walls of the chamber were often inscribed with sacred texts from the Book of the Dead, which provided instructions for navigating the afterlife and overcoming obstacles on the journey to the realm of the gods. The pyramid was not just a tomb, but a complex that included mortuary temples and causeways that connected the pyramid to the Nile River. These temples were used for rituals and offerings to the pharaoh's spirit, ensuring that he would be sustained in the afterlife. Priests performed these rituals daily, providing food, drink, and prayers to the deceased pharaoh. The causeway, a long, raised road that stretched from the pyramid to the river, was symbolic of the pharaoh's journey from the land of the living to the realm of the dead. Thus, the Great Pyramid and its counterparts were not merely grand tombs. They were sacred monuments designed to guarantee the eternal life of the pharaohs. They embodied the Egyptians' deep belief in the afterlife and their conviction that the pharaoh, as a divine being, would live on forever in the company of the gods. These towering structures, built with precision and devotion, were a physical manifestation of the pharaoh's quest for immortality, and they continue to inspire awe and wonder thousands of years later. Chapter 2. The Workers and Their Lives. The construction of the Great Pyramids, including the awe-inspiring Pyramid of Khufu, stands as one of the greatest achievements in human history. It is often easy to imagine these colossal monuments as the work of a forgotten labor force, toiling under the scorching Egyptian sun, enslaved to the will of the pharaohs. However, modern archaeological research has revealed a much more nuanced and fascinating story about the people who built these masterpieces. The truth is far more complex, and, in many ways, more human. Far from being a mass of enslaved workers, the pyramid builders were highly skilled laborers, artisans, engineers, and craftsmen. These men, and women in some cases, dedicated their lives to constructing the eternal resting places of the pharaohs. They were paid for their work, fed well, provided with medical care, and housed in nearby villages, all organized by the state. These workers were not simply building tombs. They were fulfilling a sacred task that connected them to the divine, and their work was seen as a service not only to the pharaoh, but to the gods themselves. The workforce. Skilled laborers, not slaves. The idea that the pyramids were built by slaves has persisted for centuries, but this notion is largely a myth. Archaeological evidence shows that the workforce consisted of tens of thousands of laborers who were organized into highly efficient teams, often working on a rotating basis. These laborers were likely recruited from the general population of Egypt, particularly from the agricultural class. The building of the pyramids was seen as a national project, and many workers viewed it as an honor to contribute to the construction of these monumental structures. The laborers worked in a well-organized system, often divided into gangs or crews, each responsible for different aspects of the construction process. Some teams were in charge of quarrying the limestone blocks, while others transported them across the desert to the construction site. Still, others were responsible for positioning the massive stones with precision. These workers had specific skills, and they took great pride in their roles. The fact that many of their names have been found inscribed on the stones and in the workers' villages suggests that they were far from anonymous laborers. They wanted their contributions to be remembered. One of the key findings that has changed our understanding of the workforce is the discovery of the workers' villages near the Giza Plateau. These settlements were home to the laborers who built the pyramids, and they reveal a great deal about the conditions in which the workers lived. The villages contained well-constructed houses, communal bakeries, breweries, and medical facilities. The remains of meat, bread, and fish found in these villages indicate that the workers were well fed, consuming a diet rich in protein to sustain them during the physically demanding work of pyramid construction. The workers were also provided with medical care, as evidenced by the remains of healed fractures and surgical procedures found in burial sites. This suggests that the workers were highly valued by the state, and their well-being was a priority. Injuries were inevitable given the dangerous nature of the work, but the presence of skilled doctors and surgeons in the workers' villages reflects the importance of keeping the labor force healthy and productive. Life in the workers' villages. The workers who built the Great Pyramids lived in purpose-built villages close to the construction site. These villages were highly organized, with rows of mud brick houses arranged in a grid-like pattern. Each house was simple but functional, providing shelter and a communal living space for the laborers. The houses often had small courtyards where workers could relax after a long day, and communal kitchens where food was prepared in large quantities to feed the entire village. The workers were provided with a steady supply of food, which was essential given the physical demands of their work. The state ensured that the workers had access to bread, meat, fish, vegetables, and beer, a staple in the Egyptian diet. Large-scale bakeries and breweries have been discovered in the workers' villages, indicating that the production of food was carefully managed to support the labor force. The organization of the villages also reflects the division of labor among the workers. Different sections of the village housed different groups of workers, such as stone masons, carpenters, and quarrymen. Each group had its own specialized role in the construction process, and their homes were arranged to reflect the hierarchy within the workforce. In addition to their living quarters, the workers' villages contained communal facilities, such as bakeries, workshops, and storage areas for tools and materials. These facilities were essential to the smooth operation of the construction site, ensuring that the workers had everything they needed to complete their tasks efficiently. The workforce behind the stones, artisans and engineers. While much attention is often given to the laborers who cut and moved the massive stones, the construction of the pyramids would not have been possible without the contributions of highly skilled artisans, architects, and engineers. These individuals were responsible for the detailed planning and precision required to build the pyramids, ensuring that each block was placed perfectly to create the smooth, sloping sides of the structure. Egyptian architects were master planners, and they used advanced mathematics and geometry to design the pyramids. The alignment of the Great Pyramid of Giza with the cardinal points of the compass is a testament to the engineers' knowledge of astronomy and their ability to translate this knowledge into a practical building plan. The pyramid's base is perfectly square, and the sides are aligned with incredible precision, despite the lack of modern surveying tools. The architects achieved this by carefully observing the stars and using simple yet effective tools, such as ropes and plumb bobs, to guide the construction process. The artisans who worked on the pyramids were equally important. Skilled stonemasons carved the massive limestone blocks that made up the pyramid's exterior, ensuring that each block fit tightly against the next. These masons also created the intricate carvings and inscriptions found in the pyramid's burial chambers, which were intended to guide the pharaoh on his journey to the afterlife. The precision with which these carvings were executed reflects the artisans' mastery of their craft and their deep understanding of the religious significance of their work. A sense of purpose. For the workers, the construction of the pyramids was not just a job, it was a spiritual duty. The pharaoh was seen as a living god, and his pyramid was not merely a tomb, but a sacred monument that connected the world of the living to the realm of the gods. The workers believed that by building the pharaoh's pyramid, they were helping to ensure his safe passage into the afterlife, where he would continue to protect and guide Egypt. This sense of purpose infused their work with meaning, and many of the workers viewed their role as an honor rather than a burden. The pyramids were not only monuments to the pharaohs, but also to the collective effort of the people who built them. The organization, skill, and dedication of the workforce allowed the Egyptians to accomplish what seemed impossible: to move millions of tons of stone across the desert and construct some of the largest and most enduring structures in human history. The fact that these pyramids still stand today, thousands of years after they were built, is a testament to the workers' skill, determination, and belief in the divine mission they were carrying out. Chapter 3. The Engineering Marvel. The Great Pyramids of Giza, particularly the Pyramid of Khufu, stand as enduring symbols of architectural genius and human ingenuity. The sheer scale and precision with which these massive stone structures were built continue to astonish modern engineers and architects. For the ancient Egyptians, the construction of a pyramid was not merely a physical task. It was a profound act of creation that required an unparalleled understanding of geometry, astronomy, and engineering. At the heart of this engineering marvel was an intricate system of planning, organization, and craftsmanship. From the quarrying of limestone blocks to the final placement of the capstone at the pyramid's peak, every step of the process was carefully calculated and executed with remarkable precision. The builders of the pyramids relied on a combination of simple yet effective tools, innovative techniques, and a deep understanding of mathematics to create structures that have withstood the test of time for over 4,500 years. The quarrying and transport of stones. The first step in constructing a pyramid was to source the massive stone blocks that would form its core and outer casing. The primary material used in the construction of the Great Pyramid of Khufu was limestone, which was quarried from the nearby limestone cliffs on the Giza Plateau. The outer casing, which originally gleamed white and reflected the sun's rays, was made from high-quality Tura limestone, while the interior stones were quarried locally. Some of the granite blocks used in the burial chamber were sourced from quarries in Aswan, over 800 kilometers away. Quarrying these enormous blocks, some weighing as much as 80 tons, was no small feat. Workers used copper tools, chisels, hammers, and saws to cut the stone from the bedrock. The process was labor-intensive, requiring skilled workers to carefully extract the blocks without damaging them. Once the blocks were cut, they had to be transported across the desert to the construction site. This presented a significant challenge, as there were no wheeled vehicles or modern machinery available. To move these massive stones, the Egyptians employed sledges, large wooden platforms on which the blocks were placed. Teams of workers would pull the sledges across the sand, often lubricating the path with water to reduce friction. For the larger blocks, ramps made of mud brick or limestone chippings were constructed, allowing the workers to drag the stones uphill to the pyramid site. The use of ramps was a key innovation, and several types of ramps were employed during different stages of construction, including straight ramps, zigzagging ramps, and spiral ramps that wound around the pyramid as it grew taller. Moving the stones was a physically demanding task, but it was accomplished through careful planning and teamwork. Archaeologists have found evidence of ramps, sledges, and construction tools near the pyramids, confirming the methods used by the ancient Egyptians to overcome the challenges of transporting such heavy materials. The precision of construction. One of the most remarkable aspects of the Great Pyramid is the precision with which it was built. The pyramid's base is nearly perfectly square, with each side measuring approximately 230 meters in length. The difference between the longest and shortest sides is less than 20 centimeters, a level of accuracy that is astonishing, considering the primitive tools available to the builders. The pyramid's corners are aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal points of the compass, further demonstrating the Egyptians' advanced understanding of geometry and astronomy. The precision required to achieve such alignment and accuracy was no accident. The ancient Egyptians were master surveyors, using tools such as plumb bobs, leveling instruments, and sighting rods to ensure that the pyramid was built on a level foundation. The Giza Plateau itself was carefully selected for its stable bedrock, which provided a solid base for the massive structure. Before construction began, the site was leveled and prepared using a grid system to ensure that the pyramid's base would be perfectly square. The interior of the pyramid was constructed with equal precision. The burial chamber, located deep within the pyramid, was built from massive granite blocks that had to be placed with extreme care to support the weight of the structure above. The corridors and passageways leading to the burial chamber were designed to be both functional and symbolic, representing the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife. Some of these passageways were deliberately angled to align with specific stars or constellations, further emphasizing the pyramid's connection to the heavens. Innovative techniques. The use of ramps and levers. One of the most significant challenges faced by the builders of the Great Pyramid was how to raise the massive stone blocks to the upper levels of the structure. As the pyramid grew taller, the difficulty of moving the stones increased, requiring innovative solutions to ensure that the blocks could be placed accurately. The most widely accepted theory is that the Egyptians used a system of ramps to move the stones into place. These ramps were constructed from mud brick, limestone, and gypsum, and they provided a gradual incline that allowed the workers to drag the blocks up to the higher levels. The ramps were likely extended as the pyramid rose, allowing the workers to maintain a steady flow of materials to the construction site. There were several different types of ramps used during the construction process. Early on, a straight ramp may have been used to transport the stones to the lower levels of the pyramid. As the pyramid grew taller, a zigzagging ramp or a spiral ramp could have been employed, wrapping around the sides of the pyramid and allowing the workers to reach the upper levels. These ramps would have been supported by wooden beams or stone buttresses to prevent collapse under the weight of the stones. In addition to ramps, the builders likely used levers to position the blocks with precision. Once a block had been dragged to the correct location, levers made from wooden beams were used to lift and adjust the stone into its final position. This process required a great deal of coordination and communication among the workers, as even the slightest misalignment could compromise the structural integrity of the pyramid. The use of ramps and levers allowed the Egyptians to construct the pyramid with remarkable efficiency. Despite the massive scale of the project, The Great Pyramid was completed in approximately 20 years, a testament to the builder's skill, organization, and innovative techniques. The capstone, the final touch. The final step in the construction of the Great Pyramid was the placement of the capstone, a smooth, pyramid-shaped stone that crowned the top of the structure. The capstone, often made from highly polished limestone or granite, was symbolic of the pyramid's connection to the sun and the gods. Its reflective surface would have caught the sunlight, shining brightly and signaling the pyramid's completion. The placement of the capstone was a highly ceremonial event, marking the end of years of labor and the fulfillment of the pharaoh's vision. It is believed that priests and high-ranking officials would have been present to oversee the final stages of construction, performing rituals and offering prayers to ensure that the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife would be successful. The original capstone of the Great Pyramid has long since disappeared, likely looted in antiquity, along with much of the pyramid's outer casing. However, the significance of this final piece remains, representing the completion of a monument that would stand for eternity. The lasting impact of Egyptian engineering. The construction of the Great Pyramids was a feat of engineering that has captivated the world for millennia. The techniques developed by the ancient Egyptians, quarrying, transporting, and positioning massive stone blocks with incredible precision, were unparalleled in the ancient world. Their understanding of geometry, astronomy, and engineering allowed them to build structures that have withstood the test of time, surviving earthquakes, erosion, and the passage of thousands of years. The legacy of the pyramid builders is not only one of architectural achievement, but also of human determination and innovation. The pyramids are a testament to the Egyptians' ability to overcome immense challenges, using the tools and knowledge available to them to create some of the most iconic monuments in human history. Today, the Great Pyramid of Giza remains one of the most recognizable symbols of ancient Egypt, drawing millions of visitors from around the world. As we continue to study and learn from these ancient structures, we gain a deeper appreciation for the skill and ingenuity of the people who built them, a workforce that, through careful planning, teamwork, and dedication, achieved the seemingly impossible. Chapter 4. The Pyramid Complex and Rituals. The Great Pyramid of Giza, as magnificent as it is, was not built in isolation. It was part of a grand and sacred complex designed to serve the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife. The pyramid itself was the focal point, but the surrounding structures, temples, and causeways played an equally important role in ensuring that the pharaoh's passage from the mortal realm to the divine was secure. The pyramid complex at Giza included not only the Great Pyramid, but also smaller pyramids for queens, mortuary temples, causeways, and satellite pyramids, all carefully constructed and aligned according to religious and astronomical principles. Each element of the complex had a distinct role in the spiritual life of the pyramid, and in the rituals that surrounded the burial of the pharaoh. The mortuary and valley temples, sacred sites for the pharaoh's journey. At the heart of the pyramid complex was the mortuary temple, a sacred structure built adjacent to the pyramid. This temple was dedicated to the pharaoh's spirit and served as the central place where priests performed rituals and made offerings to the deceased ruler. The mortuary temple was more than just a place of worship. It was a conduit between the living world and the afterlife. In these temples, priests would offer food, drink, and sacred objects to ensure that the pharaoh was sustained in his journey through the afterlife. The design of the mortuary temple reflected its sacred purpose. The temples were often decorated with intricate carvings and reliefs that depicted the pharaoh in his divine form, being received by the gods. Scenes of offerings, prayers, and rituals adorned the walls, showing the continual devotion of the living to the spirit of the deceased ruler. These rituals were not only important for the pharaoh's well-being in the afterlife, but were also believed to ensure the prosperity of Egypt itself, as the pharaoh's divine power was thought to protect and guide the nation. In addition to the mortuary temple, the pyramid complex also included a valley temple, located at the edge of the Nile floodplain. This temple was connected to the pyramid by a long, covered causeway, often adorned with reliefs and carvings that depicted the journey of the pharaoh's spirit from the living world to the realm of the gods. The Valley Temple played a critical role in the funerary rituals that took place before the pharaoh's burial. It was here that the body of the deceased ruler was prepared for its final journey to the pyramid. The Valley Temple was a place of purification and transformation. The most important ritual that took place here was the opening of the mouth ceremony, in which the mouth of the deceased pharaoh's statue or mummy was symbolically opened, allowing him to breathe and speak in the afterlife. This ceremony was believed to restore the pharaoh's senses, ensuring that he could see, hear, and taste in the afterlife. The Valley Temple, like the mortuary temple, was a place of deep religious significance, serving as the point of transition from the earthly realm to the divine. The causeway, a path to the divine. One of the most striking features of the pyramid complex was the causeway, a long, covered walkway that connected the Valley Temple to the mortuary temple and the pyramid itself. These causeways often stretched for hundreds of meters, rising gently from the valley floor to the elevated plateau where the pyramids stood. The causeways were symbolic of the pharaoh's journey from the land of the living to the realm of the dead. The construction of the causeways was itself an engineering achievement. Built with stone and often covered with a roof, the causeways were designed to protect the sacred processions that took place along them. The walls of the causeways were often decorated with carvings and reliefs that depicted the pharaoh's accomplishments, his connection to the gods, and the rituals performed in his honor. During the pharaoh's funeral, his body would be transported along the causeway from the Valley Temple to the mortuary temple, where the final rites would be performed before his interment in the pyramid. This journey was both literal and symbolic, representing the pharaoh's passage from life to death, from king to god. The causeway was a sacred path, reserved for the pharaoh and his divine journey, and it connected the world of the living to the eternal world of the gods. The pyramid and the burial chamber, a gateway to the stars. The pyramid itself, though imposing and monumental, was not just a tomb. It was designed as a gateway to the afterlife, linking the pharaoh with the divine forces of the universe. The internal structure of the Great Pyramid was carefully planned, with passageways and chambers aligned with key celestial bodies, reflecting the Egyptians' belief that the pharaoh would ascend to the heavens and join the stars. The burial chamber of the pharaoh, located deep within the pyramid, was the most sacred space in the entire complex. This chamber housed the pharaoh's sarcophagus, which held his mummified body, and it was here that his journey to the afterlife began. The chamber was built to withstand the immense weight of the pyramid above, and the walls were often adorned with religious texts and carvings that depicted the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife. Above the burial chamber in the Great Pyramid were several relieving chambers, designed to distribute the weight of the stone blocks and prevent the chamber from collapsing. The precision with which these chambers were built demonstrates the remarkable engineering skills of the ancient Egyptians, who understood the need to balance the structure's immense weight while ensuring the sanctity of the burial chamber. In addition to the burial chamber, the pyramid contained a series of corridors and passageways that were deliberately aligned with specific stars or constellations. The most famous of these is the air shaft, leading from the burial chamber to the outside of the pyramid, which some scholars believe was aligned with the constellation Orion. In Egyptian mythology, Orion represented the god Osiris, the lord of the underworld and the god of resurrection. By aligning the pyramid with Orion, the Egyptians ensured that the pharaoh would be guided to the realm of Osiris, where he would be reborn as a god. Rituals and offerings, ensuring the pharaoh's eternal life. The construction of the pyramid complex was only the beginning of the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife. After the pharaoh's body was placed in the burial chamber, a series of rituals and offerings were conducted to ensure his safe passage and his eternal sustenance. Priests, serving as intermediaries between the living and the dead, performed daily rituals in the mortuary temple to provide the pharaoh with food, drink, and other necessities for the afterlife. The mortuary temple was a hive of religious activity, with priests offering bread, beer, meat, and incense to the pharaoh's spirit. These offerings were not merely symbolic. They were believed to be essential for the pharaoh's survival in the afterlife. The ritual of offering food and drink ensured that the pharaoh would never go hungry or thirsty in the next world, while the burning of incense purified the space and protected the pharaoh from malevolent forces. In addition to food and drink, the pharaoh was often buried with a vast array of treasures and personal items, including jewelry, weapons, and statues of servants. These items were meant to accompany the pharaoh in the afterlife, providing him with everything he would need to continue his rule in the divine realm. The walls of the burial chamber were inscribed with sacred texts, including spells and prayers from the Book of the Dead, which provided instructions for navigating the afterlife and overcoming the obstacles that awaited the pharaoh on his journey to immortality. The role of the stars in the pharaoh's ascension. The Great Pyramids were not just monumental tombs, they were celestial gateways. The ancient Egyptians believed that the pharaoh's soul would ascend to the stars after his death, where he would join the gods and take his place in the heavens. This belief is reflected in the precise alignment of the pyramids with certain stars and constellations, particularly those associated with Osiris and the afterlife. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, for example, is aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal points of the compass, and its internal corridors are thought to be aligned with the constellation Orion, which was closely associated with Osiris. This alignment was not accidental. The Egyptians believed that the pharaoh's soul would travel through the pyramid's corridors and ascend to the stars, where he would join Osiris and become a god. The celestial alignment of the pyramids also reflected the Egyptians' broader understanding of the cosmos. They believed that the heavens were a mirror of the earth, and that the stars represented the eternal realm of the gods. By aligning the pyramid with the stars, the Egyptians ensured that the pharaoh would be guided to his rightful place among the gods, where he would reign for all eternity. Chapter 5. The Enduring Legacy of the Pyramids. For over 4,500 years, the Great Pyramids of Giza have stood as icons of ancient Egypt and as symbols of human ingenuity, determination, and faith. These massive stone structures, constructed with primitive tools yet unmatched precision, have inspired awe in generations of people from around the world. The pyramids are not only architectural wonders, but also enduring testaments to the beliefs, values, and aspirations of one of the most advanced civilizations of the ancient world. The lasting significance of the pyramids lies not only in their size and scale, but in the profound cultural and religious meaning they carried for the Egyptians. These structures were far more than royal tombs. They were the physical embodiment of the pharaoh's divine power and the Egyptians' belief in eternal life. To the ancient Egyptians, the pyramids represented the pharaoh's ability to transcend death and join the gods, ensuring the continuation of cosmic order and harmony. Today, the Great Pyramids are recognized as one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, and remain the only one still standing. Their endurance through the ages has made them a focal point for historians, archaeologists, and travelers, all seeking to understand how such monumental feats of construction were achieved. As modern technology has advanced, new methods of analysis have revealed even more about the techniques used by the ancient builders, deepening our appreciation for their skill and ingenuity. A monument to human achievement. The sheer scale of the Great Pyramid of Giza is perhaps its most striking feature. Standing at an original height of 146 meters, now 138 meters due to the loss of the outer casing stones and capstone, it was the tallest man-made structure in the world for nearly 4,000 years. The pyramid was built with over 2 million limestone blocks, some weighing as much as 80 tons, and its base covers 13 acres of land. Despite its immense size, the Great Pyramid was constructed with astonishing precision, with its sides aligned almost perfectly to the cardinal points of the compass. The methods used to achieve this level of precision are still the subject of much study and debate. Modern archaeologists and engineers have marveled at the Egyptians' understanding of geometry, mathematics, and astronomy, which allowed them to construct a structure so accurately aligned with the stars and the natural world. The use of simple tools, plumb bobs, ropes, and sighting rods, combined with the careful observation of celestial bodies, enabled the builders to achieve a level of precision that rivals modern construction techniques. But beyond the technical marvels of the pyramids, the human achievement behind their construction is equally impressive. The workforce that built the pyramids, numbering in the tens of thousands, was organized into highly efficient teams with workers specializing in quarrying, transportation, stone masonry, and engineering. These laborers were not slaves, but skilled craftsmen and artisans who took pride in their work, and the state provided them with food, housing, and medical care. The building of the pyramids was a monumental national project that required careful coordination, planning, and resources, reflecting the strength of Egypt's centralized government and its ability to mobilize the population for a shared purpose. Cultural significance and religious beliefs. The pyramids were not only grand monuments to the pharaohs, but also expressions of the Egyptian worldview. Central to this worldview was the belief in Ma'at, a concept that represented order, balance, and harmony in the universe. The pharaoh, as the divine ruler, was responsible for maintaining Ma'at both in life and in death. The construction of the pyramids was an essential part of this responsibility, as they were designed to ensure that the pharaoh's soul would achieve eternal life and continue to uphold the cosmic order from the afterlife. The shape of the pyramids themselves had deep religious significance. The pyramid's pointed shape was symbolic of the rays of the sun, which the Egyptians believed provided a pathway for the pharaoh's soul to ascend to the heavens and join the sun god Ra. The alignment of the pyramids with the stars, particularly the constellation Orion, was another reflection of the Egyptians' belief that the pharaoh would join the gods after death, specifically Osiris, the god of the afterlife and resurrection. The religious rituals that surrounded the construction and use of the pyramids were equally important. From the mortuary and valley temples to the daily offerings made to the pharaoh's spirit, the Egyptians believed that the pharaoh's well-being in the afterlife was essential to the continued prosperity of Egypt. The pyramids were not just tombs. They were living monuments that required constant care and attention from the priesthood, ensuring that the pharaoh's spirit would remain strong and protective of the land. The mystique of the pyramids, legends and theories. Throughout history, the Great Pyramids have inspired countless legends, theories, and mysteries. Ancient Greek historians, including Herodotus, marveled at the pyramids and passed down stories of their construction, often mixing fact with myth. Over the centuries, the pyramids have been the subject of speculation, with many wondering how such massive structures could have been built with the limited technology available to the ancient Egyptians. Some of the most enduring legends surrounding the pyramids include stories of hidden treasures buried deep within their walls, protected by curses that would befall anyone who dared to disturb the pharaoh's tomb. While modern archaeology has debunked many of these myths, the allure of the pyramids as mysterious and sacred places remains strong. Even today, the pyramids continue to captivate the imagination of people around the world, serving as a symbol of the power and mystery of ancient Egypt. In recent years, advances in technology have allowed archaeologists to gain new insights into how the pyramids were built and what lies beneath their surfaces. Ground-penetrating radar, 3D modeling, and other modern techniques have revealed previously unknown chambers and passageways within the pyramids, adding to their mystique and providing new avenues for research. Despite these technological advancements, many questions about the pyramids remain unanswered, and the exact methods used to construct them continue to be a topic of debate. This enduring sense of mystery only adds to the pyramid's status as one of the greatest wonders of the ancient world. The pyramids today, guardians of Egypt's past. Today, the Great Pyramids stand as silent guardians of Egypt's past, drawing millions of visitors from around the world each year. Despite centuries of weathering, looting, and natural disasters, the pyramids remain remarkably well preserved, offering a glimpse into the world of ancient Egypt and the incredible achievements of its people. For modern Egyptians, the pyramids are more than just ancient relics. They are a source of national pride and cultural identity. The pyramids symbolize Egypt's long and rich history, its contributions to human civilization, and its enduring connection to the past. As visitors from across the globe flock to Giza to stand in the shadow of these monumental structures, they are reminded of the incredible legacy of the ancient Egyptians and their vision of eternal life. As we continue to study the pyramids, we gain not only a deeper understanding of how they were built, but also a greater appreciation for the society that created them. The Great Pyramids of Giza are more than just architectural marvels. They are a testament to the power of human imagination, the desire for immortality, and the belief that even in death, greatness can endure forever. Chapter 6. The Timeless Mystique of the Pyramids. Even after more than 4 millennia, the pyramids of Egypt continue to captivate the imagination of people worldwide. Their grandeur, the mystery surrounding their construction, and their purpose as both tombs and spiritual monuments have led them to become some of the most studied and visited structures on Earth. Yet, despite the advancements in archaeology and technology, the Great Pyramids still guard many of their secrets, shrouded in an aura of wonder and intrigue. Throughout history, the pyramids have inspired countless legends and theories, some of which have evolved into modern-day speculations. Their colossal size, their nearly flawless precision, and their apparent alignment with celestial bodies have fueled imaginations and given rise to numerous explanations, both plausible and far-fetched, regarding their origins, purpose, and the methods used to build them. The alignment with the stars, celestial connections. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Great Pyramid of Giza is its precise alignment with the cardinal points of the compass. The pyramid is almost perfectly aligned with true north, an incredible achievement considering the lack of modern surveying tools. This alignment is not accidental. It reflects the ancient Egyptians' deep understanding of astronomy and their belief that the pharaoh, upon death, would ascend to the heavens and join the gods among the stars. In particular, the Great Pyramid's alignment with the constellation Orion has attracted much attention. In Egyptian mythology, Orion was associated with Osiris, the god of the afterlife, resurrection, and the eternal cycle of life and death. The ancient Egyptians believed that the pharaoh would become one with Osiris after death, and that his soul would travel to the stars, where he would rule alongside the gods. The alignment of the pyramids with Orion's belt has led some scholars to propose that the layout of the three main pyramids at Giza mirrors the positions of the three stars in Orion's belt. This idea, known as the Orion correlation theory, suggests that the pyramids were intentionally aligned with the stars to create a symbolic link between the pharaoh and the cosmos, reinforcing the pharaoh's divine status and his journey to the afterlife. While the exact details of this alignment remain a subject of debate, there is no doubt that the pyramids were built with a strong focus on celestial and cosmological symbolism. The ancient Egyptians believed that the heavens were a mirror of the earth, and that the pharaoh's pyramid was a bridge between the two realms, ensuring his eternal place among the stars. Theories and speculations. How were the pyramids built? The construction of the Great Pyramids remains one of the most remarkable feats of engineering in human history, and it has long been a source of fascination and speculation. How did the ancient Egyptians, with only rudimentary tools and without the aid of modern machinery, move millions of massive stone blocks across the desert and build such perfectly aligned structures? Over the centuries, many theories have been proposed to explain how the pyramids were built. The most widely accepted theory is that the Egyptians used ramps to move the stone blocks into place. These ramps may have been straight, zigzagging, or spiral, allowing the workers to drag the stones up to the higher levels of the pyramid. The use of wooden sledges, lubricated with water or oil, would have reduced the friction and made it easier to move the heavy blocks across the sand. Another intriguing theory suggests that the stones were moved using a series of levers and counterweights, allowing the workers to lift and position the blocks with greater precision. Recent discoveries of ramps and pulley systems at ancient construction sites provide further evidence of the Egyptians' advanced engineering skills and their ability to solve complex logistical challenges. In addition to these practical explanations, there have also been more speculative theories. Some have suggested that the pyramids were built with the help of extraterrestrials, pointing to the precision of the structures as evidence that an ancient civilization could not have achieved such feats without outside assistance. While these theories are not supported by mainstream archaeology, They highlight the enduring sense of wonder and mystery that surrounds the pyramids. Regardless of the methods used, the construction of the pyramids was an extraordinary achievement, requiring meticulous planning, coordination, and a deep understanding of materials, geometry, and astronomy. The fact that the pyramids have survived for thousands of years, enduring earthquakes, erosion, and the ravages of time, is a testament to the skill and ingenuity of the people who built them. The Pyramid Builders, honoring their legacy. In recent years, archaeological discoveries have shed new light on the lives of the people who built the pyramids. Excavations of workers' villages near the Giza Plateau have revealed that the laborers who constructed the pyramids were not slaves, as once believed, but skilled craftsmen and laborers who were well fed, housed, and cared for by the state. These workers took great pride in their role in constructing the pharaoh's eternal resting place, viewing it as both an honor and a sacred duty. The workers' villages were highly organized, with rows of houses, communal kitchens, bakeries, and breweries. The remains of bread, meat, and fish found in these settlements indicate that the workers were provided with a diet rich in protein to sustain them during the physically demanding work. Medical care was also available, as evidenced by the remains of healed fractures and surgical procedures found among the workers' remains. The discovery of these settlements has helped to humanize the people who built the pyramids, revealing that they were not anonymous laborers, but individuals with families, lives, and skills. Their contributions were vital to the success of the project, and their hard work and dedication have left a lasting legacy that continues to be admired and respected today. The pyramids in modern times, a symbol of Egypt's enduring legacy. In modern times, the Great Pyramids have become synonymous with Egypt itself, serving as a symbol of the country's rich cultural heritage and its place as one of the world's oldest and most advanced civilizations. The pyramids are visited by millions of tourists each year who come to stand in awe before these ancient monuments and to experience firsthand the majesty of Egypt's past. For many Egyptians, the pyramids are a source of national pride, representing their ancestors' incredible achievements and their contributions to human civilization. The pyramids have also become a focal point for archaeological research, with ongoing excavations and studies continuing to reveal new insights into the lives of the people who built them and the society that supported their construction. As we learn more about the pyramids, we gain a deeper understanding of the values, beliefs, and aspirations of the ancient Egyptians. The pyramids are not just tombs. They are a reflection of a civilization's desire for immortality, a belief in the power of the divine, and a testament to what can be achieved through human ingenuity and determination. The mystique endures. Despite the wealth of knowledge we have gained about the Great Pyramids, they continue to inspire a sense of wonder and mystery. Their sheer size, precision, and alignment with the stars make them more than just architectural achievements. They are a gateway to the ancient world, inviting us to explore the beliefs, knowledge, and ambitions of the people who built them. The Great Pyramid of Giza, in particular, remains one of the most enigmatic structures ever built. Its internal passageways, chambers, and shafts are still the subject of much study, and new discoveries continue to be made using advanced technology, such as ground-penetrating radar and thermal imaging. Each new discovery adds another layer to our understanding of the pyramid and the civilization that created it. Yet the sense of mystery remains. The pyramids are more than just historical relics. They are living monuments that continue to speak to us across the ages. They remind us of the enduring power of human creativity, the desire to reach beyond the limits of life, and the belief that even in death, greatness can endure forever. Chapter 7. The Pyramids and Their Impact on Modern Science and Exploration. The Great Pyramids of Giza have not only stood the test of time as ancient monuments, but have also played a significant role in shaping modern science, exploration, and the field of archaeology. From the moment European explorers and scholars first laid eyes on these colossal structures, they have been both a source of inspiration and a driving force behind the development of various scientific disciplines. As the mysteries of the pyramids continue to unfold, they remind us of how the quest for knowledge, both in ancient times and today, can fuel innovation and progress. The birth of Egyptology. Understanding the ancient world. The pyramids, along with other monumental remains of ancient Egypt, became the focus of scientific inquiry in the 19th century, sparking the birth of Egyptology. Although European travelers had marveled at Egypt's ancient ruins for centuries, it wasn't until Napoleon Bonaparte's expedition to Egypt in 1798 that systematic efforts were made to study the pyramids and other ancient sites. Napoleon brought with him a team of scholars and scientists who meticulously documented and studied the architecture, artifacts, and inscriptions of Egypt's ancient monuments. The publication of these findings in Description de l'Égypte ignited a wave of fascination with Egypt across Europe, leading to the development of Egyptology as an academic discipline. Scholars, architects, and archaeologists sought to unlock the secrets of the pyramids, driven by both scientific curiosity and the desire to uncover the history of one of the world's earliest and most advanced civilizations. The translation of the Rosetta Stone in 1822, which allowed scholars to decipher Egyptian hieroglyphs for the first time, was a pivotal moment in this quest. The ability to read the inscriptions on the walls of temples and tombs provided invaluable insight into the religious beliefs, rituals, and construction methods of the ancient Egyptians. For the first time, the stories of the pharaohs, their monumental projects, and the workers who built the pyramids could be understood in their own words. The development of Egyptology not only allowed scholars to study the pyramids in greater detail, but also transformed our understanding of ancient history. Through excavation, documentation, and the careful analysis of artifacts, archaeologists have pieced together the story of the pyramids and the society that created them. The systematic exploration of these ancient structures laid the foundation for modern archaeology, emphasizing the importance of careful excavation and the use of scientific methods to uncover the past. Technological advances, revealing the pyramids' secrets. In recent decades, advancements in technology have revolutionized the study of the pyramids, allowing archaeologists to explore and analyze these ancient structures in ways that were previously unimaginable. These technologies have provided new insights into how the pyramids were constructed, what lies within them, and how they have survived for thousands of years. One of the most significant technological developments in the study of the pyramids is the use of ground-penetrating radar, GPR, and other remote sensing techniques. GPR allows archaeologists to detect what lies beneath the surface of the ground without the need for invasive excavation. This technology has revealed hidden chambers, passageways, and structures beneath the pyramids that had gone unnoticed for centuries. It has also provided a clearer picture of the construction techniques used by the ancient Egyptians, showing how they built such massive structures without modern machinery. Thermal imaging has also been used to detect temperature variations in the stones of the pyramids. These variations can indicate the presence of voids or cavities within the structure, suggesting that there may be hidden chambers that have yet to be explored. In 2015, thermal scanning of the Great Pyramid of Giza revealed several anomalies, including temperature differences that may point to previously unknown internal structures. One of the most groundbreaking discoveries in recent years was the identification of a large, empty void within the Great Pyramid. This void, discovered in 2017 using a technique called muon tomography, measures about 30 meters long and is located above the Grand Gallery. While the exact purpose of the void remains unclear, its discovery has reignited speculation about the existence of hidden chambers within the pyramid, and has prompted further research into the structure's internal layout. These technological advances have allowed archaeologists to explore the pyramids in ways that were unimaginable just a few decades ago. By combining traditional excavation methods with cutting-edge technology, scholars are gaining a deeper understanding of how these ancient monuments were built and how they have survived for millennia. Modern exploration and the ongoing quest for knowledge. The exploration of the pyramids is far from over. Despite centuries of study, there is still much to learn about these ancient structures. Each new discovery, whether it be a hidden chamber, a new understanding of the construction techniques, or the identification of artifacts, adds to our knowledge of ancient Egypt and the people who built these monumental tombs. In recent years, there has been a renewed focus on the lives of the workers who built the pyramids. Archaeologists have uncovered new evidence of workers' villages, including homes, bakeries, and medical facilities, providing a more complete picture of the society that supported these monumental construction projects. The study of human remains, tools, and everyday objects found at these sites has revealed important details about the health, diet, and working conditions of the laborers who dedicated their lives to building the pharaohs' eternal resting places. The use of advanced imaging techniques has also allowed researchers to digitally unroll ancient papyrus scrolls that were previously too fragile to open. These texts provide a wealth of information about the logistics of pyramid construction, including records of labor, materials, and food supplies. Such discoveries have shed light on the complex bureaucracy and planning that went into building the pyramids, revealing that the construction process was a highly organized state-sponsored effort involving thousands of workers. As more discoveries are made, our understanding of the pyramids continues to evolve. The study of the Great Pyramids has not only deepened our knowledge of ancient Egypt, but has also had a lasting impact on modern science, encouraging the development of new technologies and methods for exploring the past. The pyramids have become a symbol of the enduring quest for knowledge, inspiring scientists, historians, and explorers to continue searching for answers to the mysteries of the ancient world. The influence of the pyramids on popular culture. The allure of the pyramids extends beyond the realm of academia. Their timeless mystique has made them a central figure in popular culture, inspiring everything from novels and films to music and video games. The pyramids are often depicted as symbols of mystery, power, and the unknown, capturing the imagination of people across generations. Countless films, both fictional and documentary, have centered on the pyramids, weaving tales of hidden treasures, ancient curses, and secret knowledge. In literature, The pyramids have been the backdrop for stories of adventure and exploration, often symbolizing mankind's quest for immortality or the search for lost civilizations. In addition to their presence in fiction, the pyramids have become symbols of human achievement and endurance. They stand as a testament to what can be accomplished through ingenuity, determination, and collaboration, and their influence can be seen in the design of modern monuments and structures around the world. The enduring fascination with the pyramids is a reflection of their timeless appeal and their role as a bridge between the ancient and modern worlds. The future of pyramid exploration. As technology continues to advance, the future of pyramid exploration looks promising. The use of artificial intelligence, robotics, and other emerging technologies holds the potential to unlock even more of the pyramid's secrets. Remote-controlled drones and robotic explorers may soon be able to access areas of the pyramids that are too dangerous or inaccessible for human researchers, providing new perspectives on these ancient monuments. Archaeologists are also exploring new ways to use non-invasive techniques, such as 3D scanning and digital reconstruction, to study the pyramids without causing damage to their delicate structures. These techniques allow researchers to create detailed models of the pyramids and their surrounding complexes, offering new insights into how they were built and how they functioned within the broader landscape of ancient Egypt. While much has been learned about the pyramids, there is still much to discover. Each new piece of information brings us closer to understanding the full story of these remarkable structures and the civilization that created them. The Great Pyramids of Giza remain one of the most important archaeological sites in the world, and their exploration will undoubtedly continue to captivate scientists and historians for generations to come. As we reach the end of this journey through ancient Egypt, we are left in awe of the Great Pyramids, monuments that stand as a testament to the ingenuity, devotion, and vision of a civilization that sought to transcend death and touch the divine. These remarkable structures, built over 4,500 years ago, have withstood the ravages of time, inspiring countless generations to wonder at their scale, precision, and purpose. The Great Pyramids were more than just tombs for the pharaohs. They were physical manifestations of the Egyptians' belief in eternal life, their deep connection to the cosmos, and their desire to maintain harmony and order in the universe. Every stone, every carefully aligned angle, and every sacred inscription within these monuments was part of a grand design to ensure that the pharaohs, who were seen as living gods, would ascend to the stars and rule alongside the divine forces for all eternity. But the story of the pyramids is not just one of kings and gods. It is also the story of the thousands of workers, artisans, engineers, and architects who dedicated their lives to constructing these magnificent structures. Their expertise, organization, and craftsmanship are what made the pyramids possible, and their legacy lives on in the grandeur of these monuments. Through their hands, the pyramids became symbols of the incredible human capacity for collaboration, creativity, and endurance. Today, the Great Pyramids continue to inspire wonder and curiosity. They are not just relics of a distant past, but living reminders of humanity's ability to dream big and accomplish the seemingly impossible. They have stood as silent witnesses to the passage of millennia, preserving the history, beliefs, and achievements of the ancient Egyptians. Even as modern technology allows us to delve deeper into their mysteries, the pyramids retain their aura of mystique, reminding us that there are still questions left unanswered. The Great Pyramids are more than just architectural wonders. They are bridges between the ancient and modern worlds. As we continue to explore their secrets, we are reminded of our shared human desire to understand the universe, to leave a legacy, and to reach beyond the confines of our mortal existence. The pyramids stand as a timeless symbol of the power of human imagination and the enduring pursuit of knowledge. And so, as we conclude our journey through the building of the Great Pyramids, we carry with us a deeper appreciation for the people who built them, the society that supported them, and the timeless legacy they have left behind. The pyramids remain one of the greatest achievements in human history, an eternal masterpiece of art, science, and spirituality that will continue to inspire awe for generations to come.